In LA this week,
Broken sidewalks, a thing of the past? I'm Anna Marcos, and over the next 30 years, these sidewalks will have to get fixed, according to a landmark settlement. That story coming up.
Approving a minimum wage increase and an anti-wage theft law simultaneously. LA's mayor sets a proposed timetable for the passage of both measures. I'm Gil Reyes in Olvera Street with the story.
The community comes together to save a little taste of a Los Angeles landmark. I'm Yana Kay. The details next.
hello and welcome to LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ellen Chang. The city and the disabled community have reached a landmark sidewalk repair settlement that could affect every resident who walks in the city. Anna Marcos has more on the case of Willits versus the city of Los Angeles.
It's the largest disability settlement in U.S. history and one that will change the quality of life for all pedestrians in L.A. City leaders have reached a $1.5 billion settlement with the disabled community to fix the city's broken sidewalks. And all the money will go not into plaintiffs' pockets, but into fixing the problem.
When a person with a disability can't get access to where they receive health care, or where they go to school, or to their place of employment, or to a transit center, it is life-altering for that person.
It will serve the entire human family, not just us, but mamas pushing baby carriages will not have to struggle. Our elderly will not have to fall over.
Under the settlement, the city will invest from $31 to $63 million annually for the next 30 years to fix and broaden narrow and broken sidewalks, remove obstructions, replace trees, and create curb ramps. The first priorities will be on government buildings, transit centers, and bus stops.
We have shown the ability to all work together and to be on the same page, something that will improve access, public safety, boost property values, and neighborhood pride.
Disabled residents can also request repairs to sidewalks in their neighborhoods.
From the perspective of persons with mobility disabilities, it's an extraordinary step forward. It's going to enable access, independence, and equality.
City leaders say the settlement is a win-win for both the city and Angelenos because broken sidewalks cost the city money.
They're also very expensive for the city. We spend more than $5 million year in, year out on sidewalk-related claims.
The city has already committed its first $27 million to the sidewalk repair settlement, and work near government buildings and recreation centers has already begun. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The settlement proposal now goes to court for final approval. And our top story this week now brings us to This Week in Tweets. 15th District Councilman Joe Buscaino simply wrote, "Los Angeles is finally fixing its broken sidewalks." And City Attorney Mike Feuer tweeted, #news, #LA sidewalks. This settlement directs taxpayer dollars to where they belong, solving one of our city's most long-standing problems. And at Los Angeles Walks had this suggestion, a needs assessment is critical to determining where to spend the money first: schools, transit stops, active pedestrian areas. Two measures aimed at improving workers' rights take center stage on what would have been the birthday of the late labor leader Cesar Chavez. Gil Reyes reports from Olvera Street.
Politicians from the local and national levels plead their case in front of a pro-labor crowd at Plaza United Methodist Church in Olvera Street.
To make sure that people who are paid a full day's work get paid a full day's pay.
U.S. Labor Secretary Thomas Paris joins L.A. leaders to promote two local proposals simultaneously. They are raising the city's minimum wage and creating an anti-wage theft law for the city. Wage theft, or cheating workers out of pay, is already illegal, but cases are handled by the state and oftentimes drag on for years before plaintiffs see any money. Supporters say LA's measure would speed up prosecutions and collections through the LA City Attorney's Office. Local leaders believe they'll pass both the wage theft and minimum wage measures by the end of this year. Here on Olvera Street on Cesar Chavez Day, LA Mayor Eric Garcetti is predicting that 2015 will go down as a historic year for the labor movement here in Los Angeles.
I believe Los Angeles 2015 is the same as Selma 1965, Delano 1965. Los Angeles is the poverty capital of big cities, and this year we're going to stop being number one when we raise the minimum wage.
The city is actually considering 2 wage hike proposals. The first, the mayor's plan, would increase the minimum wage to $13.25 an hour. The second, the LA City Council's plan, wants $2 more than that, while business groups don't like either idea, fearing layoffs.
That simply is not sustainable for most businesses who hire minimum wage employees.
But Councilman Gil Cedillo is hopeful for a compromise.
At the end of the day, we're all going to agree. We want to lift the wages. We want to do so in a way that we have a consensus of business and labor.
For improved quality of life for all. In Olvera Street, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
A UCLA study estimates LA workers are cheated out of $1 billion of their rightful earnings annually. And as Gil just mentioned, the activist Cesar Chavez is one of the fathers of the labor movement, fighting for equal rights for farm workers. He died 22 years ago, but his legacy is more relevant today than ever. Ana Marcos has more.
The 22nd annual Cesar Chavez March kicked off in the North Valley with lots of music and a renewed call for economic justice and social equality for immigrants. This year's theme, a living wage for all workers.
In my district, we make 23% less than the average worker in the city of Los Angeles. The majority of these workers are women. Women who are single moms trying to make it ends meet for their kids.
For supporters, the legacy Cesar Chavez left behind, fighting for the rights of farm workers and others who have had their rights denied, lives on. They say there is still more work to do. Mayor Eric Garcetti is working to raise the minimum wage in LA to support LA's lowest paid workers.
It isn't just history, but history to be made with a higher wage and to help more immigrants become part of American society.
It's about never being submissive, whether it's in the workplace demanding dignified health care, wages. It's never being submissive.
And for many here, part of carrying on the Chavez legacy is educating the children about his life.
He's really grown a lot. He's got a lot of youth orientated. I educated the youth on what Cesar was all about and what he was trying to do to help the community, help the farm workers.
He's important because he tried to protect our rights.
The 2-mile march and rally started at Brand Park in Mission Hills and ended with a cultural arts festival at the Richie Valens Park in Pacoima. I'm Ana Marcos for LA This Week.
For decades, the Norms restaurant on La Cienega has been dishing out delicious food and friendly service to its loyal customers. But now the popular diner may soon be serving its last meal. And as Yana Kay explains, that's not sitting well with customers or city leaders.
Chuck Vincent has been enjoying the food and inviting atmosphere at Norms La Cienega for decades.
I got friendly with all of the waitresses and waiters are all friendly and helpful. It's just a part of life here.
But now, this iconic Los Angeles landmark may be on the brink of extinction after the building owners are thinking of demolishing it, causing dismay among the restaurant's loyal patrons.
It just seems like a total injustice and travesty.
For many folks, including staff, Norms, which was built in 1957, is more than just a restaurant. It's a living, breathing entity that has special meaning.
I love this place. This is my second home. I've been here for 40 years. Where else I'm going to go?
To help save the building and the restaurant, Councilmember Paul Koretz, along with community members, patrons, and staff, gathered at the La Cienega location to show their support and stand behind the iconic establishment and what it represents.
I've been coming here since I was a kid. I love eating here with family, with friends, or even just driving by, seeing this great building and smiling.
In addition to the food and the restaurant, community members say it's also the unique architecture that they want to preserve. Officials say Norms offers one of the best examples of Googie-style architecture, a futuristic design of geometric shapes influenced by the space age, which became popular in the late 1940s.
This really is a building that captures that spirit and enthusiasm of what post-war Los Angeles is. And what's great about it is that it's still actively used.
And for these customers, as well as the community, they hope this piece of history will continue to serve the public for future generations. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
The building has been designated as a historic cultural monument, but that doesn't mean Norms is safe. If you'd like to show your support, you can sign a petition at laconservancy.org. As construction on the Crenshaw-LAX Expo line continues, local businesses along that corridor are facing challenging times. Sales aren't what they used to be, but Metro officials are working to make sure they stay afloat. Yana Kay has more.
Live music fills the air at this local spot in Leimert Park Village, as dozens of area merchants, restaurants, and vendors took part in Metro's Eat, Shop, Play Fest. The event aims to support local businesses by helping boost foot traffic during the Crenshaw-LAX Transit construction project. In addition to enjoying food and shopping, attendees also learned about some of the ways Metro is providing help to local businesses. Metro officials say the agency is doing its part to help those businesses, which have seen a drop in revenue because of the construction, by offering a grant of up to $50,000.
It represents their desire to be a good corporate citizen in the communities where they operate, in the communities where they're building.
Officials say to get help, business owners must provide documentation showing a decrease of last year's sales when compared to this year's. But some business owners say that puts undue pressure on them.
I think it's just like when the movies come through here. They're doing certain things, they compensate us for it. And I think that they should automatically compensate us for this.
Other store owners say customers complain about how hard it is to get around the area. They add that Metro officials could do even more to communicate and keep business owners better informed about what's going on.
If there was more meetings with the merchants directly.
Many business owners say they have seen a 50% drop in sales since construction of the Expo line began, but they remain optimistic that business will pick up.
We just hope, believe that after the construction, it will help. But before then, I hope they can do more to draw businesses to this area.
The 8.5-mile Crenshaw-LAX line is a $2 billion light rail line that will connect the Green Line and the Expo line. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
The line will have 8 new stations to serve the Crenshaw, Inglewood, and LAX communities. It's expected to open in 2019. One neighborhood with a rich Japanese-American history finally gets the name recognition it deserves. And no, it's not Little Tokyo. As Gil Reyes reports, it's another community further west.
Though longtime residents have known it in their hearts for decades, the sign's unveiling makes it official. This trendy section of West LA is now formally designated as Sawtelle, Japantown, a tribute to the area's earliest Japanese Americans.
But then now it's the 3rd, 4th, 5th generation that's coming out and saying, hey, we got a legacy to preserve. And that's important to me.
Important also to area councilman Mike Bonin and his colleagues on the LA City Council. They voted in favor of the designation so newcomers never forget. Long before artsy and tech-oriented millennials moved into high-priced apartments here, first- and second-generation Japanese Americans began arriving in the early 1900s. They didn't have a choice. White residents banned them from living elsewhere.
There were a lot of people who lived here before World War II, before they were brought to internment camps, and they came back here, and they're the ones that made this a strong and tightly knit neighborhood with gardens and restaurants and nurseries.
Those businesses have largely been replaced by hip clothing stores and more diverse ethnic food options. Not just Japanese, but an array of Pan-Asian and fusion cuisine, attracting visitors far and wide.
I think it's awesome. I eat sushi every day. I go to Daiso and all these Japanese stores. My kids love it.
Come down and check out all the great stuff that's here.
While remembering the neighborhood's past. In Sawtelle, Japantown, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The neighborhood is also called Little Osaka. There are only 4 designated Japantowns in the U.S. Our city now has 2, the other being, of course, Little Tokyo. The others are in San Francisco and San Jose. The LA City Council is offering a $50,000 reward for information in a deadly hit-and-run case near the USC campus. As Gil Reyes reports, the incident was caught on camera.
The search is on for the driver who ran over 58-year-old Elias Aceves and didn't stop. This video captures the moments just before Aceves was killed as he was crossing 23rd Street near Portland, just blocks from USC.
For this individual who basically killed my brother instantly, we need somebody out there who knows or hears something to please call the LAPD.
As you can see, Aceves was walking on a clearly marked crosswalk when the crash occurred on the evening of March 10th. Police say the suspect was driving a black sedan, traveling at a high rate of speed, and was last seen headed westbound on 23rd. Authorities hope reward money will flush out more information from the public.
My colleagues have voted to put forward a $50,000 reward motion in this matter.
Aceves leaves behind an elderly mom who he lived with not far from the crash scene. It's now adorned with candles and other tributes. Gopal Sood, the owner of the cafe at the corner, says he often sees drivers recklessly speeding by his business. He's asking the city to install a traffic light or four-way stop sign to help slow down traffic.
We have 5 or 6 schools in the neighborhood, one or two elementary schools here. If you come in the morning during the school hours, a lot of kids are walking, crossing the street with parents, and a lot of time cars don't stop even for pedestrians.
That $50,000 reward is being offered for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the driver. Near the USC campus, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
People can report tips anonymously at 1-800-222-TIPS. The Valley will play host to hundreds of athletes in the upcoming Special Olympics World Games. Here's Anna Marcos.
It's a symbolic gesture. The entire room gives the celebratory salute, part of the logo for the Special Olympics World Games. Members of the Special Olympics team have announced that Cal State Northridge and surrounding communities will play host to 500 athletes, allowing them to train for several days before the Special Olympics World Games kick off in LA on July 25th.
It's an opportunity for them to meet people that have special needs. They're no different than anyone else.
CSUN is actually one of the most diverse and international campuses in the country. We also have a strong history of serving and supporting persons with disabilities.
85 cities from San Diego to San Luis Obispo will host 7,000 athletes and 3,000 coaches at the Special Olympics World Games. But the Cal State Northridge contingent will be the largest group hosted. Those athletes will be coming from Azerbaijan, Greece, Malta, Serbia, Venezuela, and Vietnam.
When I was in high school, I was different. I could not play in sports. But Special Olympics gives me a chance to compete in sports and prove to doctors they were wrong.
The Special Olympics was started in 1968 by Eunice Kennedy Shriver in honor of her sister and other mentally challenged people.
Mrs. Kennedy started the program because her sister was institutionalized, and every time Mrs. Kennedy went, her sister was sitting in the corner, and she thought that that should change.
The Special Olympics has now grown into the World Games, drawing 177 countries. Opening ceremonies here will take place at the Coliseum on July 25th. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The games will run from July 25th to August 2nd. A popular novel with the Mexican female main character is on the reading list at LA high schools. The goal is to promote literacy. Gil Reyes reveals the plot for this year's Big Read program.
Los Angeles high school freshman James Lyons is learning more about issues facing undocumented immigrants by reading the novel Into the Beautiful North. It's about a young Mexican woman who sneaks into the U.S. in search of 7 heroes to save her hometown. James is also learning other things.
Just to read more, just to get out, and because I would never think of going to look for a book like this. So just going and exploring different type of books.
Expanding young minds through literacy. That's the goal of the Big Read program.
The Big Read is an initiative of the National Endowment for the Arts, designed to restore reading
to the center of American culture.
As part of the program, thousands of LA students are assigned to read and discuss the book through the month of June. Pulitzer Prize-nominated writer Luis Alberto Urrea talks about his inspiration for the work.
If I could write a popular novel in which American readers who don't necessarily root for undocumented people would find themselves accidentally rooting for an undocumented girl, it would be kind of subversive. And it's turned out to have been a beautiful thing.
The characters are based on Urrea's relatives from the state of Sinaloa, one of Mexico's most violent regions. This teacher from LA High School says the book is a hit with her students.
And it was successful because I got non-reading students to want to start reading.
On a program to promote reading as well as creative writing. As LA's poet laureate Luis Rodriguez puts it,
to slam words down like the bones of a street domino game and to crack them in two like lovers' hearts. Thank you very much.
At the kickoff of LA's Big Read program at City Hall, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The Big Read program is also hosting free film screenings, live performances, and art exhibits aimed at promoting literacy. Find out more at culturela.org. A martyr who was assassinated over 3 decades ago is honored by the city. Over 1,000 sidewalks are in need of repair in just one council district, and the art of Mexican paper cutting being passed to the next generation. These stories in CityBeat. Last month, Councilmember Gil Cedillo honored the life of Archbishop Oscar Romero in council chambers on the 35th anniversary of his assassination. Romero was the Archbishop of San Salvador during the El Salvador Civil War, when he was fatally shot for speaking out about the government's violation of basic human rights.
He spoke out against the incredible injustices that were occurring, and for that, he gave his life.
We believe that his life is not only worth studying, but also imitating. We study him because we want our characters to be more like him.
Pope Francis declared Monsignor Romero a martyr back in February. Councilmember Bernard Parks' office continues to work with the LA Neighborhood Initiative on repairing some of the worst sidewalks in the councilman's South LA district. This is what it looked like in front of one property on West 22nd Street before the repair. This is what it looks like now. The money for the repairs is being allocated from former redevelopment project areas that were eliminated by the governor a few years ago. There is currently a master list of over 1,000 sidewalk repair requests. Avenue 50 Studio in Highland Park recently offered a unique 5-week course on Mexican paper cutting known as Papel Picado, thanks to a grant from the Alliance of California Traditional Arts, with support from UCLA's Latin American Institute. The course teaches students the traditional folk art of cutting intricate patterns on tissue paper using knives, chisels, and hammers.
What we want to do is popularize this art. It's a very simple art to begin with, but it could get very beautifully complex, and it also tells stories.
The tradition of paper cutting is one that crosses various cultural boundaries. It's an art form that can be traced back to ancient China as well as to India. A community known for its jazz roots now passes down that history to the next generation with the opening of a brand new jazz-themed playground. Central Avenue in South LA has long been known for its rich jazz history, with greats like Charles Mingus and Dizzy Gillespie, who played in jazz clubs along the storied avenue back in the 1940s and 1950s. Today, the Central Avenue Jazz Park at 42nd and Central pays homage to that history with its jazz-inspired art pieces. Now the park has cut the ribbon on new playground equipment for kids to enjoy that also ties in with the musical roots of Central Avenue.
I know what the community wanted and what the council member wanted was something that brought up the rich history, jazz history in this community, and this is what we got.
This is a great venue during the year. We have concerts here, we have programs. This is right in the heart of the Central Avenue Jazz District, so the jazz festival activities are focused here as well.
The playground features slides with a piano and saxophone design, bongos, a megahorn, and a jam box. The playground is also ADA accessible, allowing those in wheelchairs to access the play area and equipment.
I think it's really cool that they upgraded this park and placed more stuff, and they placed a really new apparatus.
This kind of part for the little kids is pretty awesome for them because they get to play around and meet new friends around here. They get to be on the slides with their friends or play around with everybody else.
There is just one problem, though, making room on the slide so all the kids can have their turn. In this week's list of things to do, another workshop to give your input on the city's Great Streets Reseda Boulevard project, an Earth Day open house, and a puppet festival. The mayor and council members are hard at work improving some of the city's great streets into more bike and pedestrian-friendly corridors. And on Saturday, April 11th, those who live in Northridge can offer their input at the second workshop focused on ideas for making Reseda Boulevard one of LA's great streets. During the second workshop, organizers will unveil Phase 1 and ask for feedback as they enter into Phase 2. The workshop will be held from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Benjamin Moore Catalina Paint Store, located at 8814 Reseda Boulevard in Northridge. For more information, call 323-244-3630. On Sunday, April 12th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., you're invited to join the Chatsworth Nature Preserve, the Southwestern Herpetologist Society, and the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power as they celebrate Earth Day early and host an open house for the public. The festival will be held at the Chatsworth Nature Preserve located at 23234 Valley Circle Boulevard. There will be a morning celebration and interpretive hikes led throughout the day by group leaders. No dogs or horses allowed inside the nature preserve. Go to swhs.org for information on where to enter the nature preserve, as well as where to park and other details. Also on Sunday the 12th, the Skirball Cultural Center is hosting the Skirball Puppet Festival. It's the fourth year the museum has celebrated the art of puppetry with the festival featuring live music, marionettes, shadow and full-body puppets, and more pageant puppets than ever before. This campus-wide, day-long festival brings together some of Southern California's most talented puppeteers and artists. The event caps the day off with a grand procession of puppets. The Skirball Cultural Center is located at 2701 North Sepulveda Boulevard. Go to skirball.org. And that's a look at some upcoming things to do. It may be spring now, but before the weather started to heat up, some senior citizens had a ball during a winter formal. Yana Kay has more.
This couple is showing off some impressive moves as they hit the dance floor. The live music and dancing are all part of Councilmember Jose Huizar's 8th annual Senior Snowball Dance.
I want to listen to the music and dance a few dances.
The annual winter formal dance and dinner, held at downtown's Westin Bonaventure Hotel, provides an opportunity for the community to show their appreciation for those who have done so much.
This is to celebrate seniors. It's like a senior prom.
More than 800 seniors from Boyle Heights, El Sereno, Eagle Rock, Glassell Park, and Northeast Los Angeles came out for some delicious food and entertainment.
We're all having a good time. We're all dancing and enjoying ourselves, getting out for the evening, and we seniors just love getting together.
Councilmember Huizar created this tradition to honor the seniors in the 14th District and all of their contributions to the community.
It's a very genuine, loving, caring for us seniors, and it's wonderful to have these events in Council 14.
A small token of thanks that goes a long way. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ellen Chang. A reminder that you could catch us online at LACityBeat.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.